saw Dana ask all the questions that people have been asking. When, all the very specific questions, and she said a lot. And she stands by what she said. Now, people may not like what she said, but she answered the questions. And, in terms of those middle class tax cuts, and, it was said that where is she going to get the money from? Her economy plan, the opportunity economy, damn near mimics 100%, with the exception of the corporate tax, Clinton's plan. You remember the president that we had a surplus under? So she's going to tax the rich, and she's going to make corporations accountable. She's done that her entire career. So she talked about her policy. They only had so much time. That's what I was getting at when I said they're crisscrossing Georgia. She was in Savannah earlier in the day. I think that what people are missing is the theatrics of Trump. Trump wants to talk for 90 minutes or 2 hours. Everybody's not a blowhard. Everybody's not into theatrics and drama. She sat down, she answered the questions. Now, 2 days ago or yesterday, people were saying she can't even compose a sentence. She can't do an interview without being scripted. She did that. So it's like, no matter what, people are going to keep moving the bar. The people who don't like her for whatever reason.
But Miss Madison,
yes.
and I listen. If you tell me she's up by 2 points in Georgia, that's amazing to me. But what I read today was she's down in Pennsylvania by like 3 points, and she needs Pennsylvania.
Well, Jay, there are the battleground states, there's the Rust Belt, and there's the Sun Belt. And she is making strides in all of those states. She has momentum in all of those states. And I was watching it too, in particular, to see if things were calmed down after the DNC. And there are other elements. The CBS News report just came out that young black women voters registration is up 175%. There's a lot that's swirling. There's a lot that's going on. So in terms of campaign demands, she doesn't always have to do exactly what Republicans want her to do. She's her own candidate, and she and her team are going to run her
Madison,
the way they see fit.
I couldn't agree with you more. For the Republicans to always criticize how she's running her campaign, it's none of their business. She's running her campaign like she sees fit. That's something I just don't understand. I'm like, she doesn't do interviews. She doesn't do this. She did an interview. I didn't totally agree with this interview. I thought it was all fluff. But one of the points that they did miss on, that they should have asked her about, and I think it is kind of important, right? You're the biggest manager in the world when you're the president. Why does she have so much staff overturn? Why does so much of her staff leave?
Now,
they didn't ask her
that. That would have been a good question, Jay. That would have been a damn good question. And you're right. I agree with you on that. And I would have been interested in hearing that. But again, sometimes when you weigh these things, at least she's not in a situation where an entire cabinet, damn near, and a vice president doesn't even mess with you anymore. So they can open up that can of worms about, turnover if they want to. But if you compare the two sides, I don't think there's anything.
No, I think there is. I think she either did as bad or worse than Trump. I think actually she did worse. It was almost everybody on her staff left, except for 7 people out of 50. That's what I recall. Even worse than Trump.
The
other thing I want... Go ahead.
Well, none of them went to prison, that's for sure.
Well, you can change the subject if you want, but we were talking about whether she gets along with her staff.
Well,
in terms of the polls...
About staff members.
Yeah. No, we were talking about the managerial ability. In other words, the fact that the staff didn't like her. That's what we're talking about.
And she was able to manage at least a level of honesty amongst the people that work for her. They didn't have to go to prison.
Okay, so that's like a whole other subject. But in terms of the polls, they're neck and neck. They're absolutely in a dead heat. She seems to be up a point or two in Quinnipiac and in New York Times and in the Wall Street Journal, but that's within the margin of error. So it is a dead heat.
Well, I don't know if you're talking about a general poll or what you're talking about. What I was talking about.
I'm talking about the poll today on Trump v. Harris. Quinnipiac and Wall Street Journal. Both of them are within a couple points. One is within 1 point, Quinnipiac. The other is within 2 points. That's Wall Street Journal, and they're both within the margin of error, which means it's a dead heat.
Okay, well, I'm talking about specific states. She's got momentum in Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, and Nevada. He's got several paths to 270, and he does not.
What do the polls tell you in those states?
Fox News.
How are they running?
Fox News.
No, I said, what did they tell you?
She's up by 2 in Georgia. She's down by.
So this is within the margin of error.
It is. I stated that when I said it was within the margin of error. But that's 9 points in 2 weeks in a battleground state that he has to win, which means he's got to take his money, whatever's left, and he's got to focus on Georgia. Trust and believe, his campaign did not anticipate that happening. And what that's going to do is he's going to take money from Pennsylvania and the other battleground states. That's why he's on pieces of his suit that he got, his debate suit. and what do you call them, the little baseball cards? So that's why he's hawking those on TV for $150.
That's a weird association on your part. I'm not sure I see that. Well, I know he's raising money, and I know that Musk is funding this as much as possible. And I think she's in serious trouble in Pennsylvania, to be honest. If she loses Pennsylvania, she can't win the election. It's going to come down to fracking, and she's going to have to run away from her wrong record on that, because Pennsylvania made a fortune in fracking.
Well, she announced tonight that she's back in fracking 100%. And by the way, I can't take credit for that question about staff overturn. That was Kelly's question. She wanted me to ask it, so thank you for answering that. But let me say hello to Doc real quick, because he's been patiently waiting. Doc Alfred.
Hey, what's up? You know what? Kamala Harris should already be president of the United States of America. If Joe Biden cannot if he does not have the mental acuteness to run for office, then he should not be president of the United States right now. He should have resigned maybe a year or 2 ago, and Kamala Harris should be president of the United States of America right now.
Well, Doc,
with that being,
I agree with you. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, with that being said, I think neither candidate is bold as far as the environment is concerned. I think they should, instead of fracking for oil or digging for oil, they should build out the infrastructure for electrical vehicles. It's sad that private industry is taking that step and the politicians are not leading in that area as they should. For example, Super Walmarts, they have charging stations now. GM is going to come out with a Cadillac Escalade that can that has a 400-mile range on a full charge. And so the politicians should have a policy of building out the infrastructure or providing incentives for building out the infrastructure for electrical vehehicles because of global warming.
Doc, hold on 1 second. And I could be wrong. You can fact check me. That's fine. Mm-hmm. I believe Ford has canceled that program.
You mean General Motors has not canceled the Escalade? Not the Escalade. They're going to have an Escalade that's going to roll out maybe this year and next year that has a 400-mile range on a full charge. And so what I'm saying is, since corporations are doing this, Walmart, General Motors, the political leaders should take the lead in providing incentives for consumers to purchase electrical vehicles. And this should come from a federal level, and neither of these candidates are bold enough to argue for that, and that's not good.
Thank you, Doc. I appreciate you sharing. Dr. Jordan, Agent Dr. Jordan, are you there?
Yes, Jordan? I am. How are you?
Jordan, I'm fantastic. You're here, Kelly's here, Norm's here, David's here, Holly, Dolly, MG. Anyway, Jordan, I believe that giraffes run at 40 miles an hour. What do you think?
Yeah, close to it.
Did you watch it? Did you watch the interview tonight?
I heard parts of it. You know, I have to say that this notion of it not being live, blah, 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 you know, I don't know. I think that it's fair to do an interview like this. You know, you still got to answer the questions. If you don't get questions ahead of time, I mean, you have to cover your bases anyway, so you're going to be able to answer them to some degree. I think people just have this expectation that there's going to be something said that's super poignant or super absurd, and they're just very general questions, and they ask a few specifics about things that are controversial. I mean, I don't think there should be any surprises.
Thank you, Jordan. So I'm gonna ask Norm a quick question. And Norm, do you know who Nate Silver is?
Yeah, he's the prognosticator. He's the pollster. The pollster of polls.
So he's been accurate, I believe, in the 90% range for like the last 5 or 8 elections. So the reason I'm asking you that,
he blew the Trump election of 2016 famously.
Hold on, but I want to hand the mic to MG. MG, you know why I brought that up?
Well, it was, but have you seen today what was released from Newsweek? I put it in the chat. But Nate Silver has Trump winning because of Pennsylvania.
I just said that. She's in trouble in Pennsylvania. There's a lot of electoral votes.
Yeah, so.
Look, also, he's very unlikable. He's as Jay says.
Norm.
No, I don't mean Nate. I mean Trump.
Oh,
I find him very unlikable personally. I mean, it's a personal reaction. But when it comes to the problems that we have now, we did not have them under Trump. Of course, we had a different problem, the pandemic. I don't think he handled that very well. But if you want these problems solved, it seems like he's better suited to do it. These problems started under these guys, Biden and Harris, and she hasn't even mentioned a way of solving them. I mean, she didn't even come close to it. And then when she was asked about why she changed her positions on everything, she said, well, my values are the same. That's not really an answer. She changed her position on almost everything. So, I don't know.
Let me say this. And it's no smoke with you. It's just my opinion, obviously. Inflation was going to happen regardless of who the president was because of all the money we gave out during COVID. So, unfortunately for Biden and Harris, they're the ones that inherited that. So, inflation was going to happen regardless. The one point that I will agree with that they did a horrible job on is immigration. But a lot of other things, the economy's not doing that bad. I mean, inflation's high, rates are high, but the economy's not doing that bad, bro.
So what I'll say to you on that is, yes, and that is that after Trump did the first round of stimuli, Biden was advised not to, and he did it anyway. And the reason he was advised not to was because as Larry, I have to remember the guy's last name, the economist. Anyway, Larry Summers of Harvard. Larry Summers of Harvard, as he said, you're overfilling the bathtub with water. In other words, Biden flooded the economy again after Trump unnecessarily, maybe because he wanted the credit for it, and he put too much money into the economy. So you have more money chasing fewer goods. That's the definition of inflation. That's the cause of inflation. So, and Biden was warned not to do it. And also the way he's put in oil regulations for the future, this means that the oil producers can't invest in more equipment and stuff, and they can't count on the future being available because Biden is shutting down on that to some extent, including so oil prices are high and staying high. So some of the things that Trump is going to do is going to bring either control inflation or bring prices actually down.
Hey, Norm.
But you're right. Wait, guys. Let me just jump in for 2 seconds, and I'll hand you the mic back. And I also want to get ready to the conversation. So Ghost Rider 47 writes, Shapiro would have been better for her, but issues came out on him. Hey, Ghost Rider, no smoke, my friend. The only issue that came out on Shapiro is that he's Jewish, and there was no way a minority woman and a Jew were going to get elected in this country ever. And that's really my strong opinion on that. But Madison, you want to say something? I want to go to Ray.
I just wanted to ask if Norm or someone else could post the latest Quinnipiac poll, because the last one on Pennsylvania, the last one I could find was August the 14th, and it has her up by 3 points. So it was said that there was a more recent poll, and I'd like to get a link to it because I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I have it today. I took screenshots of it.
If you could just post it, that would be great. But Jay, there were some things that did come out about Shapiro, namely that he didn't handle a sexual harassment case in his office in an expeditious manner. I don't know that would have precluded him, but there were some things that come out.
Thank you, Madison. So I'm going to go to Randy in a second. I don't think anybody cares that her husband's Jewish. The husband is what is he like? He's a bodyguard basically. He's not doing anything. If he's a husband, he's the first man. He'll be the first man. So to say that because a husband's Jewish, that would impact election. That's bullshit in my opinion. But Randy, what's up, Randy? Long time no see.
Oh, hey, man. I've learned these
What's up,
things
dude?
going to your rooms. I'm not sure I have much to add right now. I would say that issue about the sexual harassment complaint in Shapiro's office, I think that's a cover, a distraction. I don't see that as being a reason not to pick somebody as a vice president. And yeah, Shapiro got. Look, we had out. What's his name? Joe Lieberman ran as vice president under Al Gore. He was Jewish. Bernie Sanders, of course, he's no friend of Israel. He was taken seriously. I'd say I'm not sure that we'll have a Jewish president in our lifetime, and that's the way it is. It's okay. I'm not sure we'll have a Chinese president in our lifetime, but that's my 2 cents for now. Thanks for letting me speak.
Oh, Randy, I think the Chinese are smart enough to run for president. God knows who the fuck really wants this position. But let me say hello to Justin. What's up, Justin?
What's up, guys? I'm trying to Google like Josh Shapiro sexual harassment. I didn't know that was like a thing. No? You guys were just talking about that.
Yeah, it's not clear that it is a thing.
Well,
it was a story in the newspaper for one day. It was like a 1 or 2 day story.
I'll post it in the chat. And I never said that it was sexual harassment. I said there was a sexual harassment case in his office that he may not have handled as expeditiously as people thought that he should have. The vice president is also somebody that she has to work with. Josh is pretty fiery, and it's obvious that they wanted to appeal to rural America as well. And so they did the calculation. So I wouldn't say it was just based on one thing.
Well, it could cost her the election because of Pennsylvania.
It could. You're right, Norman.
Well, listen, I'll stand, like you said, Miss Madison, I'm going to stand on my square. There is a certain segment of America that won't vote for her because she's a woman and she's a minority woman. Now, you throw a Jew on that ticket, forget it, it's a wrap. That's just how I feel. It's only because of all the anti-Semitism that I've seen and experienced in here in New York. But Madison was...
Oh yeah, I can agree with that. But since people don't actually like research stuff, and you have to kind of talk to the American public like at a 3rd to 5th grade level, they would realize that some of the other candidates that were running, that Josh was actually more hawkish on Netanyahu than some of the other candidates. So his stance was, it was leaning in the other way when it came to Israel. But optics are important, so I don't discount that. I was just saying that she did have to meet with all of them, and that is a part of it. It's not just the politics, because you've got to work with this person for the next 4 years. And from what I understood about the interviews too, when they asked Walz what he wanted out of this, he said he just wanted to support her. That was his role. And from what I understand, Josh kept asking, what is it that a vice president does? What are the duties? And so he probably was quite ambitious too. So that may have played into it as well.
Thank you, Miss Madison. So, Augustus, man, you and I have been rolling around each other for, 3 or 4 years now. And I know you're not going to like what I say, but your dude is a punk. Just my opinion. Still love you, but RFK Jr. got no respect for that dude. Augustus?
Yeah, I don't know what to say to that, man. Like, that's, for me, I'm in politics, and what I've learned pretty quickly is you're never going to get anywhere if you're always going to attack people, and you don't want to attack their policies. You never attack their process. So I don't even know what to say to a comment like, your dude's a punk, I'm not going to.
He was running as a Democrat, then went into Bennett, and now he's stroking Donald Trump.
So why do you think that is?
Because the Democrats didn't want him because he's out of his mind.
But besides that, Jay, tell us. No, on certain subjects he's a whack job. On other subjects he's very good. On censorship and foreign wars and the environment he's very good. On the subject of vaccines and health he seems like he's out of his mind, like you said. But it's sort of funny you put it so bluntly.
I mean, yeah, it's like, you know, the continuous personal kind of attacks on somebody who I treasure as a friend. You know, I don't know how you want me to respond to that. Like, I'm not going to say, oh, whoever it is that you like is retarded.
I didn't know he was your friend. I'm glad you have such personal loyalty. That's beautiful. And I'm sure you got a lot of the experience. You know, Jay and I think Jay is kidding you a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, I'm glad. On your personal level, I think it's great that you got this experience. I heard you talk about it the other night, and you really believe in him, and I think that's a great thing, you know?
Well, Augustus, ping him into the room. I want to talk to him.
He's not gonna.
Bring him into the room.
Especially if, like, this is, like, you know, kind of energy that's there.
Yeah, well, his sister
I'm kind of used to arenas yelling, Bobby, Bobby.
I know his sister Rory, and I won't bring that up necessarily. And he went to a party at my friend's house with his wife, the one who played Larry David's wife,
Carol Hines.
Carol Hines, yeah.
She's a sweet woman.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what's the story on Kit Kennedy and
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck? Is
Just the one that lives on my friend's building in Chinatown.
Are they moving strong together? Are they moving in together?
It's a rebound, man. I don't think it's got legs. It's a rebound.
Well, I mean, like, you know, the reason why, Jay, is I think the reason why you'll see this situation where he's going from running as a Democrat to running as an independent to now creating a unity party with Trump is because, not just because the DNC didn't want him, is because they went above and beyond their call of duty to not only silence him, but remove him from ballots, make sure that, like, all of the money that's coming into the campaign isn't necessarily being spent on the campaign. One of the strategical moves that they made was, we're not going to give him Secret Service protection. And that ate up tens of millions of dollars worth of campaign funds. So the DNC and the Biden administration has basically pushed him into a position on where, you know, if he didn't drop out,
Hey, Augustus.
if he didn't drop out, he would have given it to Kamala. So why would he give it to somebody who's going out of their way to fuck up his day every single day?
Augustus, let me say this. And and I'm being sincere, if I said anything that you felt was disrespectful, I like you, you're my friend, I apologize. But for me, it's just like, he should have just dropped out and walked away. Bernie Sanders did, right? Didn't he do the same thing? He dropped out. He didn't go. You don't see Bernie Sanders on the stage with Donald Trump. So for me, as a man, when I lose respect for another man over some bullshit, bro, let me tell you something. He probably cost himself any traction in 2028 by making that move. So and that's just how I feel.
I mean, I honestly, dude, I think that what happened was something that was beautiful. He brought two different movements together. He brought a movement that had over 1 million people sign their name up to that movement, the independent movement, the Heal the Divide movement, and he joined it with another major movement, the MAGA movement. So there's a unity there.
Did he ask for a job?
Did he ask for a job? Not that I'm aware of, but Donald Trump has asked him to be the VP, and he said no to that, and now he's been put in the position of being the
Wait, time out. You're saying that Donald Trump asked RFK Jr. to be his VP?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And he said no. And then, months later, this whole situation happened just a couple weeks ago, or a week ago, and he's now been put in the head as the head of the transition team for Donald Trump in collaboration with Tulsi Gabbard.
So let me ask you this question real quick, and then I want to welcome Eric to the stage. So Augustus, if I'm trying to word it the right way without being disrespectful, do you support Donald Trump now that RFK has joined that ticket?
I believe in RFK's leadership so much that when he says that now's the time to get behind Donald Trump, then I'm going to be the first in line, 100%. I'm going to butt in line. I'm going to be the first one in line.
Thank you, Augustus. Appreciate you. Eric, what's going on, Eric?
Oh, yeah, I just came up to listen for a second. It's okay, man. It's compelling.
Thank
Jay?
you. Randy?
Okay. How is this different than any other time that a person who was running drops out and endorses a candidate? We saw Hillary Clinton do it in 2008, and she got to be Secretary of State. And that's how it goes, isn't it?
Randy. Hillary Clinton wasn't a legacy. Hillary Clinton wasn't a dynasty like the Kennedys, who have, since Joe Kennedy was a bootlegger, have been Democrats. Listen, let's just say, from optics alone, I think it's a bad look on him. But that's just my opinion. Let me say hello to Brad. Brad, what do you think?
About RFK being a VP for Trump?
About RFK switching teams and going and supporting Trump.
I think he has some points on it. I think he's in alignment with some of the Republican ideas. You know, no forced vaccines. That was a big issue for him. Some other policies on there. I disagree about RFK being great as a VP for Trump. I think he would have dragged on the ticket because Trump's base may have accepted it, but you still have to win over the rest of the conservatives and Republicans. And I'm going to be honest, as a conservative, yes, RFK had some good policies that, you know, or said some things that I agreed with, but he wasn't a conservative to me. He wasn't somebody that I would necessarily look at as saying, this is my candidate that I want. So I don't know if he would have actually been more of a drag on the ticket for a lot of the Republicans that currently exist.
Well, Brad, let me ask you this follow-up question. Do you think that Kamala Harris is all fluff and no substance?
After tonight's interview, absolutely.
Yeah, what was the point of even having Tim Walz there?
Actually, there's a...
He was like a problem almost. I mean, what do you really say?
Jay, we have the Minnesota State Fair going on right now. One of the largest booths is I Hate Walt's booth. It's massive. They're giving out like koozies for your beer. It's stupid shit. You just spin a wheel and get a prize. And it's literally a booth talking about how people are just like really like, I don't think, I know the media won't cover stuff like this, but you can find this on like, you know, one of the social media channels, but these booths have lines going at it. And it's one of the longer lines to just sit there and get your I Hate Waltz t-shirt and stuff like that.
Well, you know, Brad, you're in Minnesota. No, you don't have to even mute up. We're having a conversation.
Don't even have to mute up.
And the guy I saw tonight on TV, the guy I've seen on TV, that's what America thinks of the guy. Like he's this likable guy. You want to have beer with him. But yet you said a few times, it's really the opposite. He's not very liked in his own state.
No, he's not. Outside of Minneapolis and St. Paul, maybe Mankato, he may be like, I know in Duluth, it's very, I'll give it graciously split, although I think more people dislike him because they're a shipping and primarily mining area, and Waltz has not really helped them in there. There was a lot of small businesses. Waltz interfered a lot with businesses up here, and they're not forgetting, like, they're bringing back, like, the fact that he created a snitch line. Like, you know, please inform on your neighbors in COVID. You know, when he's sitting there saying, you know, please mind your own damn business, that was immediately brought back up. Like, here's your snitch line that you told everybody to snitch on your neighbors. Like, this is the crazy shit that he's been saying. His stolen valor, quote unquote, that's part of a problem because, you know, for those that got deployed, I'm sure they would have loved to go into Sigonella. They didn't know that was an option instead of going to Iraq or Afghanistan. So some of the claims he makes are just little bit too far. And then his policies up here during the BLM riots and during COVID, particularly COVID, it really hurt a lot of businesses and school children here. And he got caught lying on that, saying, you know, oh, we're having great results with that homeschooling. That's not the case. He got caught lying about, you know, half of his kids were back in school and were opening up schools. That was proven to be false because 80% of the schools were shut down in the state. So you're seeing this over and over again, where these claims by Waltz, they're fabrications and they're stretching, but he's getting called out on it by, you know, people in Minnesota, and they're getting angrier. And Wisconsin's the same way. They don't like Minnesota. They didn't like Waltz either. And Wisconsin's not really, like, there's a rivalry there. And no, I don't see him doing as great as people think he is. It's kind of like Vance in Ohio. People give a lot of credit to Vance being like this, like, oh, he's just going to walk through Ohio. No, Vance struggled a bit. And Vance doesn't have necessarily a lock on Ohio. So these are two VPs that are going to struggle with the, I guess, the union, the labor votes, and the blue collar workers in these.
I think that
hold on a second.
Can you really shoot people with paintball guns or not?
Hold on, Ricky. Give me a second, because Justin raised his hand, and then I'm gonna Eric, and then Ricky. I'm gonna hand the mic to you. Justin, there was something you wanted to say.
He's been a billionaire as well.
Justin.
Sorry, I did, but I'm snacking now. So I'll come back.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you. No, I appreciate you not chewing on Mike. Eric, the mic is yours. Don't go to Ricky respond.
Yeah, I think a lot of people like this kind of wear your heart on the sleeve kind of approach that Tim Walz has, but also if you're listening closely, that's what he says, stuff that you have to think about, which is like in an interview talking about, there's no guarantee for free speech, there's no guarantee for against misinformation or what I can't remember what the other thing was in the moment, but he says kind of like what all you need to hear. Like if you do come from like a point of view of like RFK, who's sued Joe Biden over censorship, and you look at what happened during the pandemic, and you see like Harris and Walz, and you can think, well, if Biden was supposed to be this incrementalist, this kind of guy in the middle, and he kind of got authoritarian during a crisis, then you can bet your ass that like Harris-Walz administration will go fucking authoritarian too. That's what I have to look at when I'm taking that into consideration. And also I wanted to also talk about like somebody like a Rory Kennedy. It's one thing that they feel that they have to make. And maybe I've overstepped the bounds too, because I think Augustus, he knows Bobby Kennedy personally, but in my opinion, I understand that the family feels that they have to have some kind of responsibility for their family's legacy to come out and make some statements and stuff. But I also know people, I know somebody too who said that they know somebody who knows Rory Kennedy, and it's just real sad, that they even kind of talk shit about him behind his back and try to like question his mental health behind his back in personal scenarios, to where it can get around to like somebody like me and just a conversation, with a friend and a colleague. So, that's a shame. That's a shame that happened.
Well, Eric, I'm going to say, I agree with Augustus when he was saying that they should off from Secret Service. I think it was a travesty that they kept them off ballots. I agree with all that. But at the end of the day, you still got to walk away and be a man. That's just my opinion. That's it.
Well, if you listen to his outgoing speech, sorry, I guess it's just 1 second. If you listen to his outgoing speech, though, like he's very pragmatic in the way he put it. So I think some people think it'll be a historic speech, and maybe it will, maybe it won't. I tend to hope that it will. But he made it very clear that he only has so much time to affect change, and he might even said that, and I don't think he said that on the Stump at the rally, but I know he said it in the suspension speech. And he said that, like he only has 10 years left to really do the work. So this is a timing thing for him too. He calls it a spiritual journey. And so, I think it's worth listening to his suspension speech if people haven't listened to it and they already think kind of RFK's a kook. I don't think he's a kook, man. I think the kooky shit that he's done probably relates to like conservationism and his his relationship with nature. Yeah, it's just unfortunate that a lot of people kind of just jump on the pile with like the prevailing media narrative and don't take the guy seriously because I think he's pretty brilliant dude.
Augustus.
Yeah, Jay, I had a question. I thought the other day you said that you were voting against Kamala and voting for Trump, but you don't like Trump. Am I right? Or is that somebody else who said that?
You got the wrong dude.
Who are you voting for?
I'm not sure yet. Tonight didn't help her, or at least to me. Tonight her case she didn't help her case with me tonight, but I'm actually not sure. It's like I may have to just hold my...
to somebody else.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Not everybody's as good looking as me, but I get it. Ricky Responsible, what's up?
What's up?
I know you watched that speech tonight.
Yeah. I got a quick question for you though. First, what do you mean by, like you said, at some point RFK is gonna walk away and be a man? But I don't. What do you mean by that? Like how?
Well, I said it earlier. I'll say it again. You're part of a Democratic dynasty. You run as a Democrat, right? Which opposes everything Trump stands for. Then you run as an independent because the Democrats did you dirty. And then you walk across the stage and give Donald Trump a hand job. To me, that's not a man. I'm sorry, dude. You stand on your square. Let me just say this. I'm going to use Brad as an example. Brad has already announced that he's a conservative. Rest assured, if Brad lost, he's not walking across that stage and shaking Kamala's hand. You know why? Because he's a man. Dude, take the L and walk away. My opinion. Look ahead, Ricky.
Okay, I got what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, I think also, if you think about it, the Democratic Party stands against everything that he stands for as well. So that's one little note to put into that. I don't think it's anywhere near the same party when his uncle was the president. Although they were still racist, they were still the party of KKK and black codes and everything else. But I don't think that. I think at that point in time in the 60s, the Democrats really were trying, at least their votership really did feel like there needed to be a change in America. They didn't want to have Vietnam anymore. They wanted to see civil rights, the votership at least. Anyway, I think he felt betrayed by the party, not just because they stumped him, but just because of the path that they've gone down over the last 10, 20 years. So I think as far as RFK goes, I am so happy to have this man in the Trump administration. I felt bad not voting for him, but it's not just the Trump thing. He has a lot of views that I completely disagree with, but in general, I think he's a good man who's kind of fighting the same fight. We have a federal government out of control.
Well, Ricky.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just hold on one second. Because I want to ask Hakima, who is probably the second biggest RFK supporter on this app besides Augustus. Why did he switch to Kamala Harris? And so Hakima, why did you switch to Kamala Harris?
I like that. Now, when she started talking, I think she handled herself well. Not many people left to vote for.
You're very low, my friend.
I think because he didn't. I remember Hakima, you said this because you didn't like it that he was collaborating with Donald Trump.
Right, that's not why I'm with Kamala. That's why I left him, but that's not why I'm with Kamala.
Right. Did you leave before or after? Did you switch to Kamala before or after he made the announcement of going with Trump?
Can't hear you, Hakima. We can't hear you, bro.
He had sipped it up after that. I know you can't hear him right now, but yeah, he did sip it up way ahead.
Oh, okay.
You know, Augustus might like this, and I'm being serious. As a black sheep or scapegoat in my family, I can kind of resonate with RFK Jr. with his siblings ganging up on him. He's very much the black sheep, which isn't always a bad thing. So I have to give him credit, and it's Brent who brought this to my attention the other day, because he said, you should probably like RFK because you're a black sheep. And I said, well, I can kind of see that, but, you know, and I used to like him a lot because I consider him an environmentalist. But anyway, so I've gone around and around with the notion of RFK Jr. I mean, he's definitely an eccentric fellow, and you know, if anything, let's say Trump wins, and I'm not hoping for Trump to win, but let's say Trump wins, he could be actually a very important figure in the administration, because he doesn't need to kiss anybody's ass. So that may be a redeeming quality for people to consider.
Well, Jordan, if I remember correctly, Akima stopped following RFK when RFK went and basically begged for a job from both sides, DNC and the RNC.
It was right. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, it was right after the assassination attempt, when Trump and RFK had a conversation. So Biden was still a nominee when I left RFK. So I was kind of homeless for a minute, and we had decided to go with Kamala.
I really want to get into that at some point with Akima, but I really do. I would love. Let me say this first, and then you can. I would really love it, Jay, if you were to dig into that. Let me say I would love to have RFK in the administration. I think that when I look at him as a president right now, I think that there's only one person for that job. And it's nothing about how great Trump's hair is or anything like that. There's only one person in politics I've ever seen, and I've been following this since I'm 14 years old. There's only one person who has this quality that Trump has, which is he has this strange ability to bash, trash, and attack every day. It does not bother him. He says shit that is so outlandish, like getting rid of the FBI, dismantling the FBI. Like, no one else would say that because they know that their life is going to be over. And yet, this is Trump's main quality. And Jay, if you want to know the truth, this is the reason, and you could ask the stage, but this is the reason why a huge portion of people want to vote for Trump. It's because no one else would do the stupid things that he does, going against the people that he does. And it's not like he loves us. He has a problem with them personally. And it just happens to be that I want this exact same thing. So I'm super happy to have RFK in the administration, but I don't think he has that. And I told Augustus that many months ago, maybe a year ago. He's a good guy. I like his attitude, but he just doesn't have the quality that it takes to just be under constant attack. Now, RFK will be amazing in the administration wherever he's placed. I'm so happy he's there. This couldn't have ended better for, an America First terrorist like myself, alleged terrorist. But I think it's going to be a great thing. Now for Kamala Harris, I think personally that even though her campaign will get pushback, there will be a lot of pushback about it. I think she should not participate in one debate. She shouldn't participate in one unfriendly interview. She should pull a Joe Biden in 2020 and feed the ducks, do little speeches on television by herself. And I think everyone's going to think, oh my God, that's terrible. No one's going to let her get away with it. They will let her get away with that. And that's the best case scenario, because the minute she comes out and starts talking and acting ridiculous like she always does, it's only downhill from here. She's past the high point. It is only downhill from here, and the moment she talks, it goes further and further downhill. So if I was a strategist for the Democratic Party, I would say do the exact same thing that you did with Biden in 2020. We all thought it was crazy. We all thought there's no way he can win. He literally didn't exit his basement for a year, but it was a good decision on the party, on the Democratic Party's part, and you got to respect that kind of gamesmanship in politics, and I really do, and I think that's would be the best case scenario for her. But I think it's only downhill from here, as they've already said they're going to do some interviews in the next couple of weeks, and they're going to have a debate where she's going to be destroyed.
I agree. Hold on. Let me go. Hold on, Eric. Eric, hold on, please. Brad has his hand raised. Brad, what's up?
I'm going to disagree with Ricky on this one. After the interview, it's already being carved up. Particularly the line that seems to be trending in news medias and other outlets, independents. And this is go to a broader point. Kamala absolutely needs to do a debate now. The part where her values haven't changed and her positions haven't changed, blah, 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 she's absolutely 180 degrees split. And that's being talked about. She's being carved up, and social media is a huge factor. So this part that's getting carved up is going to continue, and in the coming weeks, we're going to see more and more hits because this gave a lot of fodder for Republicans. And Frank Luntz, say what you will about the man, he's pretty good at gauging averages and doing data research. He did a nice interview, I forget whichever crappy news network it was in, but then I started looking into more of like what he was saying, and the area that is going to hurt the Democrats, and this is a potential gain for Trump, is the unions. And I'm not talking about the teachers' unions, but they aren't the largest unions. There's a lot of other unions, and what Frank Luntz indicated was that he is finding more and more the percentages increasing in these unions of the actual individual participants siding with Republicans, saying that the union leadership does not speak for them in terms of who a candidate they want. And the union is saying, hey, we're standing with the Democrats, and the actual members are saying, nah, I'm not with you. And he brought this eye-opening thing, like again, to a news network, and then he's done a couple other studies in regards to this, and he's brought them to the table, showing that this is actually a growing trend for Trump, and it's a huge chasm because these guys are not necessarily in line with what's going on. So Kamala will have to do a debate. She'll have to be spot on. This is going to resonate. This isn't going to help in a lot of areas, particularly in the Midwest, particularly where jobs are, life and death for these people, in the battleground states. The reason why they're battleground. Those areas are really going to pay attention, and they're going to go, she didn't really come away saying anything except saying that she doesn't flip-flop when she absolutely flip-flops. And that was the summation of her entire interview. And that's what they're going to walk away from. And that's going to be the hardest hit.
Brad, you don't think that I know what you're saying, and you're correct. But you don't think that the 24-hour news cycle will forget about this in a week or two, and that maybe it might be best for them to shut up?
Rick, hold on a second. Ricky, hold on a second, Rick. Let me jump in.
Yeah, so Rick, I think I'm going to say what you're going to say just in a different way. It doesn't really matter how bad it is for her not to do the interview. She's so bad at interviewing, it's going to make it worse here. Every time you look at something, you have to see what's your next best step. Now, I'm not saying it's a winning strategy. This is a jump ball election, and we're still months out, which typically Republicans, especially Trump, pick up steam later on. So Trump is in a good position to still win this, even though we're not anywhere close to where he was right after the Republican convention. But we're on the biggest high Kamala Harris will ever have. She got the new girl on the block. She stayed out of the limelight for 35 days, and she just finished her convention. And she definitely had a big bounce, but it's all on the Democrat side. But she hasn't convinced any independents or Republicans. So she's not don't let the media fool you. She's not in the winning seat. Now, again, she still might win. There's a lot of time. Trump knows how to put his feet in his mouth. Trump knows how to do a lot of dumb stuff, like breaking one little rule at Arlington and kill he knows how to do that. Like, Trump's really good at his worst enemy. But it's not over. So Kamala's best strategy right now is do one or two friendly interviews, get on stages that she reads right off a teleprompter. Pray to God that she doesn't destroy herself on the debate stage, and that's the best she could do because she really can't do better than that.
Well, Mayor, let me ask you a question real quick, because I'm going to get going soon.
Hello.
Hi, Maya. How are you?
It's funny because as I was drying my hair, I seen that someone was calling me, and I thought it was a spam caller. I was like, dude, what do these people want right now? And then I got your voicemail, and I was like, oh. How are you?
I'm fabulous.
Nice, good.
What do you
So
have?
you seem like an interesting guy.
Yeah, I'm very interesting. You seem like a lovely woman.
Well, I'm pretty interesting too, so. Do you have an art gallery? Like just the space, or?
I mean, it's in my house, basically.
So your house is an art gallery?
It's not so open to the public. It's just a digital business.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Damn, I need someone that owns an art gallery, actually.
Well, I have a coach house that I'm almost finished and about to put back on the market, but I kind of want to make it a hostel and just put in tons of bunk beds and then hang a bunch of art and make the bedroom a yoga studio.
You think that would work in America, hostels? Well, I feel like hostels in other countries are,
Well,
I don't know, I feel like hostels have like a little bit of a sketch vibe when it comes with what you're doing, essentially.
that's the thing is, it's just so hard to figure out how it's all going to go down, whether it's better to try to chop it up or just find the quality tenant. I'm not sure yet, but I have my basement studio rented on Airbnb and that's going fine. So it makes me think like turning half the property into Airbnb and the other half, long term is the way to optimize it.
Interesting. There's probably a better way to do it, but I don't really know. Well, what if you just make like a bunch of little tiny rooms,
Well, I would just do all gender, so either do all men or probably all women, and then it's just like a women's dormitory, basically.
Yeah, I could see that actually.
It's like for flight attendants or travel nurses.
Yeah. But I've just never heard of a hostel in America. I feel like everyone would just like rape and kill one another.
No. There's a
You don't think so?
No, of course not. I've stayed at hostels before. They're scary if you're like used to staying in hotels, and then you just, I don't know. You meet weird people at hostels.
I've actually never been to a hostel, but I think it's just the movies that I watch.
Well, I was in a hostel in Sydney, and I went into the room, and there were like these midget British girls, and they're like, "Hello," and I was like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "Are you girls gonna like steal all my shit?" So, but they seemed like they were living there like a year. I'm like, "Do you girls live here?" They're like, "Yep, we fucking go to the beach every single day."
And we don't need much space.
They're like, "We were just at the beach with Britney Spears."
That's amazing, actually. I've actually never met a little person.
These weren't like real midgets. These were just like very short girls.
Oh, well, that's not the same thing.
If you ever see a midget, try to shake that midget's hand. It's like very good luck.
I feel like it would just piss me off because I hate people who have bad handshakes.
Oh yeah,
Like, what is this?
Yeah, midget's handshakes.
Here.
Yeah, terrible.
I'm pulling up to my friend's house. Let me drop this off and I'll call you back in a minute.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye.
I don't know, the conversation would have been a little bit different than just that, you know? Like, it's, you know, they didn't even try to, convey that there was any sort of meaningful, thoughtful strategy on how to, like, you know, smoothly transition her into the role of the candidate as he was going out. It was just this very simple, awkward question that she had to back up and say, and then she questioned it, and she had to back up and say, actually, I didn't think about me. I was more thinking about him in that moment. I didn't really think about myself. I really think about him. And then she kind of had this little tears well up or whatever. She's not authentic at all, man. And you can't even feel like she could really persuade, like, if she can't persuade a simple voter like me, how could she persuade, like, a bad motherfucking leader somewhere, and negotiate something for the country?
Yeah, this is the thing about, every time someone brings up this notion of how will they deal with foreign leaders and dictators in particular, Trump has set the worst precedent in the history of American politics. So,
Lie.
no. What's that? Why?
No, that's a lie.
It's the truth. Cozying up with Putin, cozying up with the North Korean leader. I mean, these are things that, in other words, you don't have to love Kamala, and I got to go back and watch either. I heard pieces of it, and maybe I'll change my mind. I doubt it. But the truth is that, she can be terrible and still be better than Trump because.
But can you define closing out? Because I remember North Korea stopping the regression with the bombs that they were doing in the Obama administration. I remember Putin starting an incursion to his neighbors under every administration besides Trump's. So yeah, he shook hands and he did like what we call diplomacy. But what do you mean by closing out?
Well, okay, so look, one of the, and I'll answer your question, but Eric mentioned that one of his gripes is that she's not authentic. Well, Donald Trump's authenticity is brought into question just based on his relationship with countries that we don't even have formal bilateral relationships with, but rather countries that we see as our foes. And so let's just say that he makes, let's just say that, he kisses someone's ass and they make a decision that's favorable for the United States. There's nothing you can hold on to there in terms of continuity in regard to kind of integrity and ethics that the rest of the world can follow suit with, right? Like, you either have a standard practice of relating to people or you don't. And
you mean like telling Russia you have more latitude in the second term, or you mean like telling Russia if you make a small incursion in Ukraine, that's okay? Because that was Obama and Biden, respectively. Like Trump is his authenticity comes from him being insane and him being like a wild card.
Exactly.
But he sat with foreign dictators, which is what you do as president, and he said some platitudes to flatter them. But when it comes to giving in, he didn't give in. He didn't give $1 billion of equipment to Afghanistan. He didn't send planes of cash to Iran. He didn't. He told North Korea, "You're going to stop your aggression with these missile tests that he was doing for the last 8 years." Like, you got a photo op of him shaking hands with a dictator, and all of a sudden you think that means that we're supposed to be afraid of him. Like, I don't know.
But what's interesting is,
And wasn't Obama
hold on a
achieved
second,
that anyway?
Eric, hold on. One of the things that you said, which is really quite interesting, is that his insanity is what keeps us safe, and you got support in the chat, blah blah blah. And let's say there's truth to that, but it's the insanity that also makes him a danger, right? And it's like that is so worrisome, right? It's like you'd almost rather have someone who is rational and making choices that doesn't necessarily please everybody, or isn't a kind of a populist take or approach, but you at least can trust that they're going to be predictable.
Hello.
Hello.
My friend is just like a talker. You know when you're like trying. I feel like if someone wants me to stop talking, I like read the room. I'm like, oh, okay. They don't really care. Well, she just like keeps talking. She's an older gal. All right, what were we talking about? Midgets or something? Something weird.
People talk because they want to get a dopamine feedback loop.
Really?
Yeah, you get high when you talk.
I feel like I only talk when I have something of value to say. I don't just talk,
Well, that's because you're Croatian Serbian. You're Serbian. I mean, you know the value of time and money.
Do I, though? I'm kidding. What are you?
I'm Russian, German, and English.
Oh, that's an interesting mix.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting a lottery ticket.
Lottery tickets?
I feel lucky right now. I don't know why.
Oh,
Everyone's
wow.
just like.
I agree.
I don't
Buy
know.
more. Buy more tickets. I feel the luck too.
Do you?
It's the Kundalini.
What does that mean?
Basically like the spirit, you could say.
But there's also, like, have you ever seen, what is it? Those people, they call it the curse of the lottery or whatever. Like, everyone that's won the lottery has become cursed in some way, shape, or form. I'm like, probably because they don't know how to spend money well,
Yeah,
they probably
don't.
can't think big. Yeah.
They don't. And the other thing is, a lot of people don't do it privately, and they announce that they won publicly. And next thing you know, you have all these people just coming to you out of the woodworks, and some people can't say no.
Yeah. I would do it privately for sure. And if people ask me why I'm so wealthy, this is my plan. I was like, if I ever won, I would have like a lawyer to do it for me so no one would know that I won. And then if people are like, man, how did Maya get so rich? I would tell them that I sold like an invention and that I signed a non-disclosure agreement and that, you know what I mean? Because then it looks like you worked for it and people don't just,
No, well, yeah.
So I feel like if you won the lottery, it's like, dude, you just got it for free. But I feel like if they thought you worked for it, they wouldn't be like, Maya, give me some money. I'm like, I worked for this money. Even though I didn't, but I don't know.
Well, the lottery.
I feel like that alone would ruin your life.
Well, there's a lot of ways to ruin your life, but I mean, if you're smart and you have wisdom and knowledge and understanding, I mean, they say, it's like if you win the lottery and you're a good person, it'll just make you a better person. But if you're already a shit person, then you got bigger problems now.
You think? I feel like just people expecting things from you would just like ruin a lot of things. I don't know. I don't like when people expect things.
But it would be so
don't deserve them.
It'd be so easy to make everyone in your immediate life more than whole, make them extraordinarily wealthy, and have no problem. If you won $400 million, post taxes, I mean, you can do amazing things and change people's lives.
Oh, for sure. I don't know. I feel like I'm a pretty good person.
Well, I think if you want to win the lottery, I think this is why people ruin their lives, is because like you've already won the lottery, technically, just by being alive. It's like a miracle, numerically speaking or statistically. So just speaking with you this evening is like winning, the lottery.
Oh, that's so poetic. I love it.
Yeah, if you're not happy and you win the lottery, when will you ever be happy?
True. I don't know, in the grand scheme of things, I feel like, people are like, oh, money doesn't buy happiness. Well, obviously it does. Otherwise, people wouldn't work so hard. But I feel like a mix of being wealthy plus having a good, close circle of friends, family, just having good people around, that's, I don't know, I feel like it's priceless. I don't know, there's so many people that don't have, like, good family or anyone close or even like a best friend, that's like crazy to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of antisocial people who are just looking at cell phones all day long, and
Well, maybe it's because they're fucking weird too,
there's weird people out there. Yeah, I mean,
I know.
have you ever been married?
Mm-mm. No kids, never been married. You?
No. But I mean,
Why not?
by definition, you would be considered weird because you haven't been married, you're not married, and you don't have kids, and you're, approaching 40.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably because, like, when people, like, ask, like, oh, why aren't you settled down? It's like people probably just think you're insane, honestly. But, I mean, I was with someone for 7 years, and then it didn't work out, and I don't know, I just worked so much. I guess it's probably why. I feel like I'm just so, I don't know,
Yeah.
motivated that I'd rather be working on that than looking for love.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you have a bunch of money, like a substantial, I mean, if your security is set, finding love or making love or having a family, like it's active. It's not like it is a question of time allocation. I mean, so.
Yeah. I feel like the love of my life will just, I don't know, knock on my door one day, and I know that's not going to happen. And then I just get in these, like, little moments where I'm, like, bored, or I'm like, maybe I should try and meet someone. So I go, like, on a dating app for, like, a month, and then I'm like, oh, God, never mind.
Yeah. I don't know, when you're head over heels for somebody, it's reciprocated. It's a nice feeling.
Yeah. I feel like for anything to work, like, I feel like one of two people always has their wall up. I feel like it's rare in cases that two people both have their walls down. It's like, it just doesn't happen. And when, one person has it down, one person has it up, it's like there's always just a, kind of, you have one person overcompensating, the other person's like, get the fuck away from me. You know what I mean? And it just never, I don't know, just never works out.
Yeah, I mean, I have this the girl who just moved out of my coach house. She reunited with her husband, and I gave her husband a book called The Couple's Tao Te Ching, and it's like
what?
It's called The Couple's Tao Te Ching.
Okay.
It's a book on Taoism for couples and relationships. So they draw from this classic Chinese philosophy book.
What is Taoism? Are you saying Taoism, like Taoism?
Right, Taoism. Tao means the great way in Chinese.
Okay.
So it's a philosophy on inversion or opposites.
So what does that mean, essentially?
Well, that means, like what you said, that when my wall is up, his wall is down.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you understand that in terms of, your relationship, and what greater meaning or enlightenment can be derived from that understanding?
Probably self-awareness. I feel like so many people aren't self-aware, or just don't know why they do the things they do. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
But then again, you know, I don't know. Who knows?
Well,
At the end of the day, who knows anything?
Well, your relationship can bring about a greater awakening, you know, individually for both partners. But if you don't have that practice or knowledge, I mean, and you're just looking at TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube all day, I mean,
Yeah,
you're fucked.
that makes sense. Oh, and I noticed, I was going to ask you this actually. I seen that you have the magician tattooed on you,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is awesome because I love tarot. But why? Like, why the magician?
Just because that's like who everyone is, meaning that you use the rest of the tarot cards as a magician. So that's why I got it. It's like the source card or the primary card.
Well, the fool's like the primary.
Right. But meaning that the fool becomes the magician becomes the hermit becomes the emperor, that kind of a progression.
Oh, that makes sense, actually. Because the magician's the first face card, right?
The fool is 0, the magician is 1.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But the fool is how you get on the path to enlightenment, meaning that the clown or the Riddler or the Joker, that's like a motif for basically like the first step to embarking on a wisdom journey or like a journey of self-actualization.
I'm tired of journeys. I am, but I'm not. You know, I feel like I've learned a lot in the past like couple years. Just life lessons in general.
Yeah, I have too. I mean, I've basically stopped road raging, where like no matter what journey I go on or house or door I open or go into, like I'm no longer like getting gaslit or road raging. Like, you know, I'm pretty much indifferent to the environment.
Like what happens kind of thing.
Yeah.
Me too. I feel like I always try to control so many things, but then I'm like, Maya, like, get real, you know?
Yeah, I have a picture of a Buddha that I painted, and it says underneath it, "Let it go." So it means,
love that.
Yeah, like your thoughts.
What's your birth chart like? What's your moon sign?
I'm Scorpio.
What's your moon sign though?
I don't know.
I wonder. Scorpio is my love match, actually.
Ooh, wow.
Oh, wow.
I really like Serbians and Croatians, so.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
You love Chevaps and Schlivo?
Yeah, they're just beautiful, wonderful
Hell
people.
yeah. Hell yeah. Nice. I feel like there's a lot of people that are like, I've never met a Serbian, but then I feel like someone always knows an old man Serbian, and they're like, they're so nice. I don't know. All right. Okay. I'm gonna. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh. I'm gonna do something. Just text me.
Okay. All right. Well, sweet dreams. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Clap the boom, I'm coming through. They wanna see what I'm about. Yeah, I got skills, do it for the thrill. I'm on a paper route. I'm sure you can read about it. I'm today's trending topic. But comments over bullshit. Good day, good month, good year, have a great life. It's an Easter What's going on? Hi, welcome back to my channel, and Anatoly here, and in this
example. But the Taliban, for example, is a very complicated issue. Tribal Pakistanis are like it could take years to kind of understand all of the dynamics, right? And so in that case, and maybe that was a great move, right? And maybe that showed assertion and confidence and decisiveness, right? But what worries me about Donald Trump is that he doesn't get very deep into anything beyond the immediate response, right? And so the sequela, if you will, or the consequences that follow in the wake of decisions are really important. And that is part of being a president of the United States and being leader of the free world is really taking time and input from all kinds of sources and really working in a coordinated fashion with allies to make sure that, things turn out all right. And that's not to say that he hasn't made good decisions, but the way he operates is what concerns me. It's not so much always the results, because, you're not always going to win even when you operate in the way that people hope. But if you have a pattern of following, even within the bureaucratic schemata, if you will, and these institutionalized organizations, all these agencies that we have, whether you like them or not, that's important to me. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe bureaucracy slows us down so much that we never take the risk we need to. But after the world has seen COVID and the stressors that we face, I'm looking for stability and a methodical approach to foreign relations and domestic issues, more so than someone who is, bringing charisma to the table and spontaneity.
Wait,
So I
but
think
with
that
that
would have been a
stability,
really
hold
good
on a second,
argument.
Mayor. Let me have this one more, and then I'll shut up. But Jordan, that stability that you talked about, you got that under Biden. I forget that Russia did invade Ukraine. Hamas openly and blatantly attacked on October 7th. Israel is now in a conflict and actually facing a lot of trials and tribulations for dealing with this issue in there. We're still missing hostages. We're still having areas going through. Syria's having problems. Jordan's having problems. The Middle East is on fire. There was some positive steps made under Trump, but Biden seems to have rescinded that area back into a tribalistic hellscape of fire and death. And then you go over to
Hi, Urja? Or Hanny? This is John. Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm sorry, I haven't set your number just yet.
Oh, my bad. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. How about you?
I'm good.
Uh-huh.
What are you up to?
Just in Kentucky, just chilling for now.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh.
What do you like to do in Kentucky?
Well, I'm just visiting, like, honey's family here.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so we were like, oh, like Labor Day weekend, we don't really have any big plans. So we were like, oh, let's just go down, chill with fam.
Do you drink whiskey or bourbon?
I do not, which is funny because that's what it's famous for.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Do you?
I do, but not often.
Okay.
Yeah, it's heavy. I usually just drink beer and wine.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I don't prefer beer, but wine's good.
So you speak Urdu?
I do.
Wow.
Uh-huh. What language do you speak?
I speak Spanish and Hebrew and Arabic and Russian.
How do you speak Arabic?
أنا بعرف شوي عربي.
Okay. But how do you what kind of Arabic?
Egyptian proper.
But okay.
Yeah,
I was born and raised in Kuwait.
Oh, cool.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to Jordan twice.
Oh, Jordan. they're very different from Kuwait, and it's not GCC. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's nice.
How old are you?
40.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So usually Honey handles like the Bumble, and like she'll ask me like, oh, like, well, how what do you think of this person? But like I haven't seen your face yet.
Oh, I see.
So I mean, I could just check in from here.
Yeah.
Um.
I would have texted you, but sometimes I'm like, okay, this is all a scam, so I'm not gonna like check some scammer photos of myself.
Oh, you're. No, you're okay. No, we're real. We don't have that kind of time to be playing around, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, well, good to know you speak Arabic.
Yeah, free Palestine.
Sure, 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 yeah.
Just kidding. But
Why, just kidding. That's sweet. Why are you like
I
going to
mean,
Israel? No, you're just kidding.
I'm not really kidding. I mean, I don't like violence, so I'm just opposed to all violence.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Are you drinking? Are you sipping on bourbon right now?
No, I'm having a Miller High Life with some orange juice.
Oh, cute. I like that.
Do you smoke weed?
I do not know. I'm a good girl like that.
Oh wow, you're a good Muslima.
I'm not Muslim.
You're Christian?
No, I'm not.
You're Buddhist?
No,
Zoroastrian or Sikh?
I am Sikh.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of I didn't think about that, but now it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, so I grew up in Kuwait, right?
Hmm.
And a lot of what I do is so closely related to Islam because of the way I was raised there. Like if anyone says like have this, like I'll literally be like it has gelatin, like things like that. So sometimes people are confused, but I think I practice some of Islam in that sense, but I am Sikh and I am exploring Christianity. So
I heard some people making fun of Sikhism because some guy was like on a rampage with a sword in India or something. So, like, Indians are like really pissed off right now at some of the Sikhs.
well, they've always been pissed off. It's no joke that Sikhs think that they're the shit. It's so sad. Like we Punjabis, so like the larger community is called Punjabis. So we Punjabis just think we're the shit and we own the world, which is not very nice. But I feel like sometimes they forget like, oh, there's other people around, and I think that's just been the Punjabi community's been like that, like the Sikh community. So that's fair. Yeah. So you're from you're Egyptian.
No, no, no. Russian, German, and English.
Russian, German, and English. Then where did you pick up Arabic from?
I was in the army, so my language of study was Arabic.
Okay, cool, fun.
Yeah.
Very fun. What do you do now?
I open and close offices for a government agency, and then I run like a hotel that I own.
A hotel, like a proper hotel?
It's like a bed and breakfast in the northwest side. I have like a 5 unit apartment building, which I've turned into like an Airbnb basically.
Okay, that's sweet.
Yeah.
That's good business for sure.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, my life is like stress free, so I'm just very happy.
You said you're a wife?
No, I said my life is stress free. If I had a wife, it would not be stress free.
Uh, Very funny. Well, why the wait? Why didn't you get a wife?
Just life circumstances, I love love, but I like to do things strategically, I suppose.
Did you think Honey and I were Middle Eastern?
No, I figured you were either Indian. I mean, to think that you were Pakistani was kind of I was like, because I know you speak Urdu, so I was like, I don't know. It was
So
hard to tell.
she's Pakistani. She's from Kentucky, but she's Pakistani, and then I'm Indian Punjabi. So we're both the same community. We're both like Punjabi community, but she's from the Pakistan side, and I'm from the India side. So I don't know if you know about the partition between India and Pakistan.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
Yeah. So we're both from like the same region, but post India Pakistan formation, like we're different now. But she's Muslima, I'm Sikh.
Wow. My friend is his last name is Goyal.
Goyal, yeah, that's Sikh last name.
Is he? He's like I thought he was Hindu.
Hindu, a lot of like he might be Punjabi, so that's the bigger community. And like within Punjab, there's like Sikh Christians, whatnot. So like India has 27 states or something like that, and Punjab is one of them. So
Yeah, he got married a second time and just got a second divorce. He married a chick that he met on Shadi date.
oh, that's so sad. Dang, bro, that's fucked up.
Yeah, I flew to Texas to Austin and I saw him wire transfer her $350,000 in the final consent decree of the divorce.
350,000.
Yeah, and he had a kid with her and now he pays alimony and child support and like the marriage is going to cost him $1 million.
Oh shit.
All through the courts. Some Democrat judge, she like fucking destroyed him.
Yeah.
But that's his own fault. He was a bad husband and he was stupid for getting married and having a kid with her.
Yeah, he cheated on her.
Who knows? I don't know.
Oh.
I would
So
say
why did you say he was a bad husband?
because like I would talk to him and be like, "Where are you?" You know, it's after work, and he's like, "Oh, I'm out at the bar with my boys," and I'm like, "Why aren't you at home?" He's like, he's like, "Fuck that bitch. She's being a bitch. She called the police on me," and I'm like, "What?" So she called the police on him like 50 times or something. She's got like a mental health problem. So
Oh, and she's Indian?
yeah.
Oh yeah, she met her on Shabi.com. That makes sense.
But yeah, he's got a cute son, but horrible ex-wife.
Oh, well, that's gonna suck.
So how's your love life? Have you ever been married or been in love?
I'm 26. You think I've been married?
I mean, who knows? You meet people that got married when they're 18.
That's true. I'm not that people. But no, I have never been married. I have no kids. I do work with children with autism. Like that's my area of specialty. So I do say like my kids, like my clients. I call them my kids. But apart from that, I don't have my own.
Nice.
Do you have kids of your own?
No kids.
Oh, fun. Fun.
Yeah. Do you like so what is are do you do like speech therapy or how do you work with autistic children?
I give psychological services.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I'm currently getting my PhD in psychology, and Hania is getting her master's in law. Like she's getting her JD.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but we're pretty educated out here.
Do you go to what is it, the Chicago School of Psychology or whatever it is?
No, I would never. That school is it's a lot of they don't really support their students, and their research topics are not of my interest. So I picked a school based on my topic of research, like what I was inclined towards, and they did not have that. So
Oh.
I'm very focused on like bullying, teasing, all of that jazz. So
Oh wow.
yeah.
Yeah, you should definitely read this book called The Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu.
So here's the thing before we go forward with that. I will never read a book if it's only by one author and it doesn't have any numbers in it.
What do you mean numbers?
I need data. I need statistics to be like, yes, this makes sense. Like if it's from just one author and they're just giving their perspective, one person's alone perspective it holds no importance for me unless that okay, even if they have that perspective, is that perspective backed up by data? And if it's not, it's just a personal opinion that I don't give a rat's ass about.
Well, I don't know if you could pass judgment without actually at least glimpsing at it or reading just like a page because it's poetry basically.
Oh, it's poetry?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. I thought it was like a psychological book.
Well, the poetry deals with consciousness or psychology or wisdom and philosophy. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but
Yeah.
there's just so much information out there, especially in poetry, where
Uh-huh.
poetry is like a hypnosis or like a neurolinguistic program. So,
Uh-huh.
very valuable information. I've read some incredible poetry, but
Yeah.
even the have you ever heard of the Upanishads?
Upanishads, I think that's in Hinduism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Uh-huh.
you
I
know
don't know what they are, but I've heard of them.
yeah, I bought like a rare book once, and it had fragments from the Upanishads, and it's just like very advanced psychology.
You got the red book?
By Jung, I used to have that, but it was so heavy. I
Oh,
didn't. Yeah, I sold it or I gave it away. I didn't want to travel with it or move with it. It was so fucking heavy.
I know. I love the red book. Carl Jung was my man.
Yeah, I have this one book called Psychological Reflections by Jacob Boehm, and he took all the best of C.G. Jung and put it in this quotations book, and that book is like mind blowing.
Yeah, like these psychologists, I trust them. They've done tons of research. They have their labs and whatnot. So yeah, I would read those kind of books. I want to read the red book so bad, but I don't have the time or capacity right now.
I actually submitted a proposal to the C.G. Jung Institute in Chicago to give a presentation on Jungian mysticism and anger management. And
Uh-huh.
they thoroughly reviewed my proposal, but in the end, they decided not to, not to accept my proposal.
Why? What was the gap?
They didn't really give me an explanation. They just said your proposal has not been chosen. We appreciate you applying, and et cetera, et cetera.
Interesting. I want to read your proposal now.
And what's crazy is I was looking at Young book, Carl Jung books on eBay, and there's a rabbi named Rabbi Jung,
Uh-huh.
and so I was like, was Carl Jung Jewish? Because like it's
Oh, let me look it up. That's a good question.
yeah, I know
I don't think he was. Or maybe actually he was. A lot of psychologists from that time were Jewish. He was from Switzerland and
I'm pretty sure he's Christian.
probably. I'm just gonna look it up real quick.
But I bought a book by a Rabbi Jung, and it's on Tefillin, and Tefillin is called phylactery, but it's like Jews wrap themselves in this leather amulets called phylactery. So, whether Jung is like, I don't think it's a Jewish name. So, I mean, maybe it is. Or what it means, what does it mean really even mean? But, anyways, I'm just a big fan of Carl Jung, is all I'm saying.
Oh, I love Young. He my man.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm a Skinner girl now. Like I love Skinner, Bad Love. They're my people, but I still do like Young. I like how he was like a neo-Freudian. Neo-Freudian. I guess you know what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that just makes me like, oh, like he stepped away from like this unconscious, and he was like, no, like we have access to all of this and we need to be here and now rather than digging into the past. Like those are all really good concepts. I didn't like how Freud was pessimistic and he used to think about things that couldn't be measured or observed. Whereas Carl Jung was like, okay, we're gonna measure and observe and then change the behavior.
Yeah, Carl Jung like took the mysticism out of mysticism and made it very professional.
Uh-huh.
And just can't be discounted because when you listen to Jung and you see the videos, you're like, oh, that's my grandfather. And my grandfather really looked like him and really acted and really, really acted like him. Like it almost seems like my great grandfather and Jung are like twins.
Uh-huh.
It's so weird.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's cool.
But
you have dinner?
Not like a nice dinner, no. I was actually gonna go to, I'm actually still probably gonna go to the gym.
Oh, this late?
Yeah.
Well, that's a choice you make, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, because if I go now, I won't go in the morning, you know. So,
Yeah.
but
I
yeah.
would make you talk to Honey, but she's literally passed out.
Oh, no worries. Well, it's been fun chit chatting with you. I hope you have a sweet dream, and I'll talk to you when you get back to Chicago.
Yeah, what did you like want to plan a day so that we can like I'm assuming your intention is to meet both Honey and I.
Yeah, I'd love to take you ladies to the Dock restaurant at Montrose Beach, or if you want to go somewhere else, we can do whatever you want.
The Dock?
Yeah, it's a restaurant on Montrose Beach.
I'm not sure if we even have the deal to be commuting that far.
Yeah, it's not far. You just shoot up Lakeshore Drive. You're there in like 10 minutes. Where do you live in River, or where are you staying at? River North?
Well, we stay in the Loop. That's
Oh,
really up
Lou.
north for us, actually.
Yeah, well, I mean, whatever you want to do. If you want to meet in the Gold Coast or you want me to pick you up, I mean, I have a car, so whatever you want to do. Or if you want me to call you an Uber.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I think we'll text you once we're back and then we can figure it out.
Okay, sounds good. All right, sweet dreams. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, you as well. Bye. It was nice talking with you.
Yeah, likewise. Okay, Roger, talk to you soon.
Okay, good night. Bye.
Okay, good night. Bye. Punjabi.
Want to pack the board, but there's 6 Republicans in the Supreme